Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. Our main talking points on tonight's programme. Rangers boss Mark Warburton says they're looking forward to heading to Pittodrie to take on Aberdeen on Sunday after their convincing 5-0 win over Queen of the South in the Betfred League Cup last night. Jim Duffy is also a happy man. He guided Morton to their first semi-final in 37 years with a win over Dundee United. We will look ahead to tonight's fixture between Celtic and Alloa, and tomorrow Aberdeen and St Johnstone in the remaining quarter-final ties. It's all in the company of Frank McAvenny, who's subbing in for Alan Ruffin, an able deputy, may I add.
Thank you.
And I'm delighted that our boot-room guest is none other than St Johnstone's former captain, Dave Mackay. I hate to say former, it's so sudden, but Dave, after all these years, lifting the Scottish Cup with the club, you've decided to call it a day. How difficult was that for you?
I didn't find it too difficult, to be honest. It's been a decision that I've been prepared to make for almost the last year. I had my second hip operation in beginning of March there, and even before I had that I was prepared to quit. I asked the surgeon, look, if I quit just now, do I still require this surgery? And he said yes. So once I had that, I thought I'll give it my best go to get back playing. You don't want to quit and maybe have regrets thinking I could have come back playing, but it's definitely the right decision for myself and my family in the long term. That was the main reason why I called it a day. It's for my long term health. I don't want to be needing a hip replacement in 2-3 years' time for the sake of trying to squeeze one more season out of football. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Had you been maybe 32, would you have pushed the boat out on it?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. If I was younger, if you're mid-20s or so, then you'd be desperate to keep playing and pushing through it. But I'm happy with what I've done. Not many players manage to play until they're 35, so I can't be too unhappy with that.
Yeah, Mark, it's something that many a player now has to contemplate now. Not only the hip, I think your ankles were gone.
Yeah, well, I got a bad injury, Peter, which once you get a bad injury, your ankle's out for 10 months, and I was just never right after that. As you can probably see at the 60s, hobbling about all the time. But I'm just refusing to give up, you know. And I mean, the good thing about Davey, he's staying in the game, which is great, because he's doing his in a coaching. He's not going to be lost to the game, which is there's not enough footballers, I don't think, staying in the game these days. I think they've got that much money, some of the boys, and they're just not interested in football. But it's great that people like Dave's going to be staying in the game and passing valuable experience on to the kids.
I know it probably won't be something that you dwell on, but the great thing about you as a captain of St Johnstone and all that group of players, you know, it's legendary status in Perth forever and a day because of that Scottish Cup. It's got to be the best day ever.
Oh, without a doubt, it's easily the best day of my career, and for St Johnstone fans, the club had never won a major trophy in their history, and to be the first captain to do that is something that'll always be there for me, and something that I'm extremely proud of. But I just hope the club keep going from strength to strength and continue to have the success that we've had the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, and with that in mind, it's, you know, it could be a semi-final on the horizon. It's the small matter of Aberdeen. Strangely enough, St Johnstone are one of those teams that week in, week out, we think we're not betting on them because they can just upset any team. I don't think you. I mean, give us an insight into the mentality of your teammates.
They really are a great bunch of lads. It's the best group of players that I've played with. This team-wise, the work rate, the attitude, the commitment, just they run through a brick wall for each other, and that's a big reason why we've had the success. But also the fact that we can play a bit. We're maybe a bit underrated in terms of the quality player that we've got, but we've got some very good players there as well. And when you put that and hard work together, then it's a good ingredients.
Yeah,
I remember the day when they bust every coop up and down the land when they went to Pittodrie and beat them 5-0 or 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah. It was like everyone was like crying. That was the only one. They were a banker.
Thanks for that, Mackay. I presume you had Aberdeen to win it. I mean, picking up on his point there, that's a very good point Dave makes, and maybe because, you know, when you get into the Central Belt, you kind of don't focus as much on the other clubs. I don't think we're guilty of it because we've had Dave as a guest on more than a few occasions to highlight the St Johnstone plight. But Tommy Wright's also said, Mackay, that maybe they don't get the credit they deserve when you consider, as Dave said, the standard of player that they've had at their disposal.
Well, I think so. And you heard, the first thing you heard was Brendan Rodgers when he came up to Celtic talking highly about Tommy Wright, saying that what he's actually doing, when you look at what he's done, He doesn't get the applause that he deserves, and obviously being from Northern Ireland, Brendan's obviously followed that, and I just think he's a great match, and I'm just delighted for St Johnstone that nobody's took him away, because you tend to reckon every time somebody does well at St Johnstone, they tend to ship them on. You know, I think Owen Coyle done it, and you know, and he's not doing nothing since he left St Johnstone. Maybe he'll go back one day. I don't know, and ruin the club.
Big apology to all the Coyle family for that one.
It's all right, Owen's a pal.
I was just about to say, thankfully he is a pal. And on that point with regards to Tommy Wright, do you get the feeling that the more and more he achieves, I mean, what more can you can't top the Scottish Cup, but do you think somebody will eventually snatch him because you know him better than most?
You'd imagine they've got to. It's a mystery why he's never. It's to the benefit of St Johnstone that he's never left yet, or nobody's come in for him, or if they have come in for him, it's not been tempting enough. But I think it's only a matter of time before he does get the chance, and I think he deserves the opportunity to go to a higher level. The job he's done there is incredible, and the budget, the size of club we are, to continually be there, top 3, top 4 over the last few seasons and winning a Scottish Cup. It's an incredible job he's done.
Yeah. I don't know him well enough, but I think looking at him and listening to him, he's clever enough to pick, if a club comes in for him, he'll pick the one that's right for him.
Yeah.
So it's going to belong to him. He's not going to do what everyone does and just jump and go down England. It'll be a club that's right for him.
Yeah, results are key to it as well, Dave, but what does he have that's different from other managers?
He's just very well organised. He's always prepared for whatever opposition we're playing. He works the boys hard in training. There's no slacking. His man management's good. He's just, I don't know, some managers just have it and some don't, unfortunately, and he's certainly got what it takes to be a huge success, and whether that's continued at St Johnstone or elsewhere, then I wish him all the best. He's been great for me in my career, and I've enjoyed working under him. Yeah,
so you're no longer the captain. Stephen Anderson gets the armband. What do you make of the choice?
I think it's a good choice. Sando's been there for God knows how long. He looks about 60, look at that photo. That was him when he was about 14, but he's no aged well, Ando, but he's a good lad. He's the most miserable guy you could ever come across, but he's a good guy. He would do anything for anybody, and I'm happy to see that he's been awarded the captaincy. I'm sure he'll do a good job. Yeah, I'm just looking at tweets here from Chris Miller, Mackay. I'm raging. I always like my captain to be a centre half anyway. Do you not, Mackay?
Well, you've got to have someone that's got a presence. I like to have someone. You know, I was fortunate. The team I played with, they always says there was 11 captains on the pitch, because it was one of them. You like that, don't you? Paul McStay never spoke when he was at Celtic, you know, but he led by example. He dragged everyone through. Big Roy was totally different, you know, and there was a lot of good captains, you know, and so. And down in England, there was a lot of great captains. Ray Stewart took captaincy when Bonds and that wasn't playing, so it was people with stature and people that's been about the club. I like people that's been about the club rather than somebody that's just coming in with a name and then getting the captaincy. It's got to be, I like it to be somebody about the club for years and everyone identifies with them. Yeah. And they certainly do that up there. Yeah, absolutely. A couple of quick points before we hit the break, Dave. Zander Clark has come in. Looks as if he's got the #1 jersey at the moment. He's well up for the fight. And maybe Gordon Strachan having a look and thinking, could he be in line for an international call-up? What do you make of him? He's outstanding. I really do believe that he'll go to the top of the game. He's got everything. His stature, his kicking's great, which is a huge thing in football these days. Obviously, he's a great shot stopper, as we've seen at the weekend as well. But I honestly believe he's got everything to reach the top. And we're fortunate to have two very good goalkeepers at the club, two first-choice keepers as well. Alan Mannis will feel very hard done by being dropped, but the same could have been said for Zander at the beginning of the season when he wasn't in. But two very good keepers, but I believe Zander he's only 23, maybe something like that. And he's had a couple of good years out on loan. I think he was at Elgin first, then 2 years at Queen of the South, and he's come on leaps and bounds since I've been at the club and continues to impress on a daily basis. He's a very good goalkeeper, and I'm sure Gordon Strachan, it won't be long before he's involved in the Scotland squad. It's a very good advert, Peter, for people going on loan, because a lot of people just don't like that. But sometimes you've got to go on loan to find your feet, and he's a credit to that. You know, young boys, I'd advise any young boy if they get the opportunity to go out on loan. I've done it a couple of times with myself at Brecon and Arbroath, and you go from playing under 18 football and then you're playing against men. It's a completely different league, and maybe the standard's not great, but just the physicality, everything, it's
it certainly makes you grow up quickly.
Yeah, okay. Dave, get your thinking cap on as well as the Scottish Cup final. Before we finish this programme, I'm going to ask you about maybe one other game that sticks in your mind and one player that's given you the most torrid time ever. There's a question and a half, eh? Dave's going to whittle the list down, and we'll be back with Dave Mackay after the break. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's football show. Alan Ruff not with us today. It was a choice between the studios here or playing tennis, would you believe, Mackay, with Andy Murray. I mean, surely there's only one choice. Surely it's here with Cup Tie Mackay. There's only one choice.
Oh, I couldn't understand it. He loves his tennis, but he doesn't move around. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe he's about to speak to Judy. Who knows?
Well,
because she won't be far away.
To be fair, by the way, is there anybody you don't want to fall out with on this show tonight? By the way, you're in big trouble. No, he's knocking the 10. Not that you need to move when Andy Murray's next to you. I mean, give me peace. But nevertheless, he'll be back with us tomorrow on the programme. But Mackay is an able deputy, and I'm delighted that we've got Dave Mackay, the former St Johnstone captain, as our boot-room guest in the studio with us. OK, let's look to last night's League Cup ties. It was a 5-0 win for Rangers against Queen of the South. Mark Warburton says it sets them up nicely for that journey to Pittodrie on Sunday.
We just want good performances. If you focus on a result, on a win, no, get your performance right and the result follows. And tonight was a good performance again. I mean, as I say, more clinical. So looking forward to what we know will be a really tough trip. But it's been 4 years since we've been up there, and the Rangers fans looking forward to it, and so are the players.
Well, I think it's the first time the managers actually had a chance, Mackay, to talk about positive things on the park, because it's been a real week of turmoil.
Of course it has, and quite there's been a lot going on about the Joey Barton's saga, and it's going to drag on for more weeks. It was a reprieve last night, if you like. I thought it'd been a tougher game than that. But, you know, it just shows you, I keep banging on about strikers. Strikers do their job, and Waghorn's back. And, I mean, you've got a striker like that can score goals. You know, it doesn't matter about the performance. Nobody will be interested in the performance last night. They've scored the goals, and that's what people care about. And, you know, it's a little reprieve from everything that goes with managing a team like Rangers.
Yeah, I mean the whole circus that surrounded, obviously the story that unfolded from him being sent away from training. Players have fights, but I think the ongoing situation. I think if you have a fight with a player, that's one thing. If you have a fight with a manager, that's a different thing, Dave.
Yeah, completely different. You see it pretty regularly. Players arguing or whatever. I've not seen many coming to blows. I've seen a couple, but it's more just arguments, and it's quickly brushed under the carpet. But I think when you're challenging your manager, it's a completely different story, which must have happened for him to be suspended for a few weeks. It's obviously not just a little argument. There's some strong words being used there, and there's normally only one outcome when that happens, and it's the manager will win, or the manager has to stamp his authority and make sure that none of our players think, well, if he gets away with it, we can do it as well. So has to be strong here, which I'm sure they will be.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we've mentioned it in the last couple of days, Mackay, I think it's a long way back. I cannot see him having a future at Rangers.
No, there's a lot of rumours going about, you know, but it's getting the truth, and you'll know, because there's only so much they can do if it's not as bad as what people are making out. So you will know, because the PFA, they'll all get involved, and it'll come out eventually. But if you follow the manager, as Dave says quite rightly, there's only one winner. No matter, there's a lot of managers I didn't like, and I never won one fight. So you know, it was it's just, you've no chance when it comes to the manager. You know, you just can't do it. I think it's one of them, unless, you know, there's a collective like when at Rangers when Barry Ferguson, that was the only one. Everyone was behind Barry, because, you know, it's such a good manager as well, Le Guin, but obviously not at Rangers, and didn't get time to implement what he wanted. So it's totally different now. The fans are, I think, because Joey's come up here and he's been mouthing off, and he did, but he does that. Everyone knows he does that, and they knew he'd done it went before the bottom. So when they brought him up, it didn't change. But you've got to do it on the park, Peter. You know, if you come up here telling people how good you are, you've got to go and do it.
Yeah.
If you tell people how good you are, and people are not in your league and all that kind of stuff, then it's going to come back and hit you if you don't produce it on the pitch.
Yeah, we'll have to produce it on the pitch. I think this is the second biggest test Rangers will face going to Pittodrie on Sunday. This is again another gauge if they're not challenging Celtic, which I think is fairly evident, and I think we knew that before the game came about. This one is another test, Dave.
It's a huge test for them, yeah, and you know the rivalry between the two clubs. The fans don't like each other, and it's the first time they've played in a few years, I'd imagine. So it'll be a huge test for them going up there. Aberdeen are a very useful side, as we've seen the last couple of years, finishing second, and they'll have aspirations of finishing there again. And it'll be a great test for Rangers. It won't be easy for them, but it's a good win for them last night to build a platform for going into the weekend.
Yeah, easy for you though. You used to go to Pittodrie and win 5-1 anyway, you know. So you had the cigars out that day. But what about? I think we talk about. You mentioned that you don't get the plaudits, at St Johnstone for what he's achieved over the last few years. What about the job Jim Duffy's done? Morton 2-1, Mac. I mean, it's just sensational.
I've always been banging on about Jim. When before Ronnie took the job, I was wanting Jimmy to get the job at Celtic, because I think he's got that class about him. He's trained with he's coached with some of the best managers going about. Mourinho, just for one, he's been about. He knows what he's doing, and he's been down there. And what a job he's doing with Martin, and he's loving it. He just loves football. He loves talking about it, and he's just enthusiastic. People like that shouldn't be out of the game, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, I think the chairman actually had to have a word in the last couple of weeks with the fans about booing the team. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They'll boo if they don't win it.
But I mean, it's ridiculous. This is the first time they've got to the semi-final in 37 years.
Yeah. Incredible job he's done. And I worked with Jim Duffy at Dundee for a couple of years, and we got to the Scottish Cup final, finished top 6, played in Europe and stuff, and he was excellent, one of the best that I've worked under. And as Mackay says, the experience he's had down south at Chelsea, Norwich, Portsmouth, and for whatever reason he's not getting another chance up here at a higher level. But he's done a great job at Morton in the last couple of years, and to get to a semi-final of the League Cup's unbelievable achievement for them, and who knows where they can go from here. Yeah,
absolutely. If anything, tonight, I mean, by the time we get to the repeat of this show, Mackay, it'll be done and dusted at Celtic Park. Alloa, I think Jack Ross is another man with a great reputation, a growing, CV that everybody's looking at what he's doing at Alloa. Only one defeat against Livingston since he started the season. 1-12, Mackay.
It's incredible. They started off great, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of the programme. It's great that people that Jack's still in the game, because it's like you, David. Hopefully you'll go on to manage clubs, and it's younger generation coming through, and they've got this bond with the boys that are coming through, and I just think that I know we were talking about it earlier. It's a great to go to Celtic Park tonight. It'll be great for Jack to go there and lead a team out there, and it'll be good to see what kind of formation he's going to go up against Celtic. I mean, he's going to be cautious, because if he goes the way he's been playing, then they may get turned over by a few, and you don't want that, because he's done well. But I just think he's tailor-made for a team like St Mirren. I just can't understand. That's me flinging it in. I'm just why they haven't spoke to him yet, because he's played there, and he's well liked.
Yeah, and of course he's taken a few scalps on the way. I mean, Ross County, Raith, and Inverness have been knocked out of this cup at the hands of Alloa.
What a start he's had to the season, incredible. And they weren't just beating teams, they were absolutely battering them, 3, 4, 5 goals at a time. And to turn them around from a team last season who must have been low in confidence from being relegated, having a tough season, to getting off to an absolute flyer this year. So it speaks volumes for the job that he's done, and obviously the ability that he's got to transform that team from last year to this year. Yeah,
well, they've got the compliments. I don't think any of us are suggesting there's a shock. Is there a better shock for you guys tomorrow, or do we even consider it a shock for St Johnstone to go and knock Aberdeen out of the cup?
Maybe in some people's eyes it'd be a slight shock, but that's all it would be, a slight shock. We've had some very tough games against Aberdeen the last 3-4 years. They've all been pretty close. First couple of years Aberdeen had the upper hand until we beat them in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, and since then I think we've probably had the upper hand, and we had some good results against them last year. But again, it's probably a 50-50 time, maybe slightly, people will say slightly in Aberdeen's advantage is the home side, but there'll not be much between them. That game, it'll be pretty tight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, okay, I can't let you go with thinking, is there one other game that sticks in your head that was a classic that you loved?
The one that I probably enjoyed the most was when we beat Rosenborg away 1-0 in the Europa League qualifier. It was not just the fact that we beat a team like Rosenborg, it was the performance we put in for, I think, about 60, 70 minutes of that game. We were outstanding. It was just a unbelievable away performance.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it better. We passed the ball really well, counter-attacking. I think they thought they were just going to turn up midway through their season. They were top of the league.
Yeah.
We had we'd probably won pre-season game beforehand, and we turned up and turned them over.
And last one player. Just give me his name as we run right out of time. Any player that's given you a torrid time.
That'd be an unexpected one, but I'd say Jamie Murphy at Motherwell. I hated playing against him. He used to run rings around me. He could go right or left, and he was quicker than people thought. So I'd probably say him.
What a way to finish. We'll send that to you, Jamie. Dave, it's been a joy having you on the programme, and Mackay as well. Thanks for watching tonight.